Hey everybody, how's it going? My name's Kedrin Gonzalez, the creative director. Kedrin Gonzalez. I said Kedrin Gonzalez. Gonzalez, creative director here at Ilphonic. I am joined today here with Tone, aka Spaghetti Monster, and James, aka Roy Lopez. Is that it?
Rui Lopez.
Rui Lopez. What is it? What is that a reference to?
It's a chess reference. It's a chess opening.
It's a chest reference.
Chess
Reference.
So
Okay.
back in the 1400s, there was a Spanish priest who traveled around Europe playing this chess opening called the Rui Lopez.
Okay.
He's famous for that.
Oh, okay. See, here I was. I was thinking it was actually something terrible, but it's actually chess. Like, oh, nice. Chess. That's something interesting. More you learn. So today's going to be an interesting, a little kind of mini series we're going to be doing. It's called I don't know. Do we have a name for it? This is stuff we're doing by Ilphonic on Revival.
10 for Kedrin.
Yeah, TM. But anyways, this mini series essentially is going to be us beginning in this episode. We're going to be talking about the modularity and building the houses, and we're also going to be taking a peek inside Unreal Engine 4 in the editor, looking at the actual two houses today for styles 1, the tenement buildings, and style 2, the cottages. So we're going to fly around and look at that. But before we start getting into that fun stuff. We just want to make sure you guys know who everyone is. Okay, my name. You guys, if you tuned in last time on the stream, I was doing the banter, and we're still figuring things out. If internet gets a little weird during this live stream, we do apologize. We've been having a hard time with the internet at the office today. It's been going up and down. They've been doing construction all around us, so it's been really annoying. We told everyone in the office to please STFU, and please for just a little bit stop streaming porn, just if you can, just a little bit. It's hard sometimes, but it really is. It's really hard, But so in other words, if there's problems, video quality losses, we do apologize. We'll take care of it, and hopefully we can get things back up and running. Tone is a level designer, and James is the intern level designer here, working on the project. They've been tasked working with me more specifically on getting these houses up and running and training these guys good. I've known these guys for about 7 years now, and I've known you more than 7 years. Yeah. I've known you before Ilphonic started, actually. Yeah. So I think you too, probably. Yeah. So known these guys for a long time. They're really good guys. And it's been really interesting. When we started working on Revival, it was on another engine. The prototyping phases we went through tons of different theories of modularity and stuff like that, and then on work going into Star Citizen also kind of brought these theories we developed in the early stages of Revival kind of a little bit more to the surface of the water with modularity, and then when we committed to the house production, we really kind of drove it home. Like we were like, okay, now this is what we have to do to make sure this system, what we call the tier system, is what we call and what we implement essentially. So let's get started. Let's talk about, first off, housing, why we're doing housing the way we're doing it in Revival. So more importantly, there's a couple things. One, I think a house is important in an online RPG or RPG in general, right? Your character is deeply seated into the world. You want a place to call your home. You want a place you can go to and unwind or retreat from everything, hang up your personal belongings. But I think that sometimes that's just not enough. If you're really wanting to live in a world that's like you're really, really trying to get your character connected with, you need something there that's in your house that is, it defines you, or you use it, or it has powers, or there's stuff there that is that you can't live without. And, that's where the upgradable rooms come in. You can put things for crafting, stuff like that. So essentially, that's why kind of what we want to do houses, and they have a very strong economic stance when you're looking at it from the outside. In the world of Revival, you want to know that player owns that house. If that house is destroyed, I can steal stuff from that house. I have power to vote for things in the neighborhood. If you've been following along with all the stuff we've been talking about with housing, it gets crazy and in depth like nuts. So anyways, some of that stuff, Tone. How do you feel like? How do you feel like some of this has kind of been like an inspiration for you're kind of planning out some of the houses and laying out the levels, knowing that the functionality and your kind of economic standing and stuff like that.
It's been a major factor in how things are laid out and stuff, and what kind of amenities you have, and what your location is in the world. Close to the market, close to the alchemy. I really tried to keep all that in mind. While still maintaining a variation of here's all the different models you're gonna get to choose from, and they're all gonna be okay. You're gonna want to own this, so it's been a heavy factor. I'll have to say, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Tone and James, like both of you, what has your guys' main task been with making the houses? What have you guys been kind of doing?
It's basically following the view that the artists, the way the artists want to build a house, and all the assets they make, implement them into blueprints that we could use as like modular pieces and sort of be able to like mass produce houses through blueprints, which are these prefabricated pieces.
Blueprints are Unreal Engine's prefabricated objects, which just means a collection of objects that are grouped together, and that's how we essentially make everything really fast with those groups. What about you?
It's been really great seeing this sort of modularity with like in a full production kind of project. Because you see examples of like fully completed things, but you don't know what they ran into before getting to that final state,
yep.
Which is awesome. Seeing like, oh wow, well, this is definitely something. How did they fix this, or what can we do better?
Yep.
So.
Absolutely. I see the notes here, huh? Let's see here. What we got here? No, that's. All right, sorry. Oh, this apple juice is strong.
Yeah,
this is strong apple juice.
Yeah.
Indeed. Anyways, so yeah, let's talk a little bit about this modularity, because I think it is important, and I think it's important for people to understand where we are in development with modularity, because it is the backbone of everything we're doing, and it is a big deal because it essentially, in the beginning, it's a slow burn, and it's all really hard for development teams, especially design and artists, to kind of hold their horses. And I understand a lot of the fans, a lot of people coming in as founders, and they want to get access to their houses. And it's hard to do that. It's hard for us because we want to play this game now. And if we're doing things the traditional way, we would definitely be in our current state further ahead. Absolutely. But where we are right now is we're focused on modularity. So essentially, development either can move. If you're looking at a graph, it moves linear, right? Like, okay, we're getting here, we're getting this stuff done, right? Where modularity and taking your time to build a massive modular kit in the beginning essentially makes development speed become exponential, where we start slow, but then it just starts speeding up and snowballing, and we just start going faster, and that's good for you as a player, especially for the live storytelling, when we're like, hey, we need to make a new city out of nowhere, and we just go, shit, there's a city, like bam, and it looks amazing, everything works, everything's scripted, doors work, torches, windows, your shit bucket's functional, everything.
Gotta have your shit buckets.
Everything, yeah. So that's kind of what we're doing right now with what we call the tier system, and essentially our idea is, we take things and we put stuff like walls, floors, ceilings, and we put them together in what we call footprints. And this footprints is think of like a 3D volumetric cube, and the cube is like a big Lego piece, and you just put these Lego pieces together and they just form like a building. Mm-hmm. And getting to that part, making essentially your prefabricated objects, the blueprints, which has have a floor, wall, ceiling, and that has all functionality. If this wall ever needs to be destroyed, it's included in this footprint of here's a corner and a window, whatever. It's included in the blueprint. So anytime you might see that every now and then, that same corner, you might see it in various places throughout the world. But the thing is, the speed of production and the quality is still going to be high on that one unique instance. Is essentially like if we have this corner placed everywhere in the game world, just imagine how big this virtual world is going to get. And now, for some reason, something happened where some artist a long time ago or a designer fucked up and did something in a corner that was a little weird, and now we got to update it. So traditional sense, we would have to go through every single level throughout the entire game, find that corner, try to fix them all, and just it's like needle in a haystack. Where this is like, we don't even have to open the levels. We can just do it in our own isolated instance, fix, update, it spreads throughout the entire game, everything's updated, and it just works, right? So that's essentially like the core theory behind it. And then we have things that go from these little 4 meter cubes, and that's kind of like the definition of our minimum space. So you will see in the world of Revival, everything kind of mostly converges on this 4 meter kind of spacing, and so sometimes things might seem a little big, but to the plus of that, it is an online environment, an online atmosphere, so we do want to make sure we give plenty of room in case there's a lot of players coming through, or a lot of monsters, or whatever might be happening. But you will see that, and then that's called our Tier 3, then we have what's called Tier 4, which is a collection of Tier 3s, and then a Tier 5 is a collection of Tier 4s, so it's essentially, it starts getting bigger and bigger. So essentially you might have a Tier 6, which would be an entire building, all the entire floors, rooms, everything, which then are broken down into Tier 5s, which might be the floors. Then you might have the Tier 4s, which might be the entire bedroom, and then you would have the Tier 3, which would be the hallway or the corner or something like that. So it all expands and grows and grows and grows, so we can just make these big things and just populate the world really fast. And that's kind of the general theory, and how that's going to impact you guys in your experience is it means we can deliver you high quality content very fast throughout the life of the project. Just in the beginning, it just takes a while for us to get all those pieces together. And it has been interesting. There definitely is a lot of issues that can come up. But for the most part, it's been really fun, especially in Unreal Engine 4. What we were using before was definitely more of a challenge, but Unreal Engine 4 definitely has the tools we need to really make this happen. It's been super freaking cool. So Tone, tell me a little bit, like, how did you feel about implementing this theory of like tiers and using Blueprint and stuff like that?
So, I mean, my background with like the whole modularity and tiers is pretty new, but I was a little nervous coming into it. After getting used to Unreal, after the Switch and all that stuff, I started feeling really comfortable, and on my side time, I started exploring different aspects of it, and that was a real plus because it allowed me to see how we can utilize them as like compartments, so the floors and the ceilings and the walls are all their own different meshes, and we could either do like, or the traditional thing where it's like we make more pieces and do the full swap, or we could do some fancy footwork, with what Unreal's tools has, and like either way, it's just great and it's fun. There's never a time where I'm sitting at work, here in the office, just kind of like, oh my god, I hate this. It's just like, oh, this is great. All this information is just coming, and it's just putting these all together and just looking for the future and being like, yes, we need to just keep going with what we're doing. So yeah, it's been real positive.
Awesome, cool, man. And have you ever been experiencing any specific rules you've been using when implementing the tiers? I know we've gone back and forth tons of times. I mean, let me tell you, it's been stressful figuring this out. These guys get the anger from me sometimes, because the problem is it's such a delicate thing that if you mess up one thing and we didn't think about it early on, we have to go through and do a massive sweep all in this beginning phases, and that's why internal houses are such a big focus for us, because it's something safe, small focus, and easy for us to digest as a development team, so we can figure out every single small nuance in the beginning. And a lot of those, I don't know, what do you think? Naming conventions has been a big pain.
There's definitely,
there still are little knots we gotta work out, because certain pieces are harder to name than others, like the Grand Hall pieces that we're working on.
Yeah.
There's different, we're naming it by alphabet, each asset was a wall, wall A, wall B, wall C. But when we have a Grand Hall piece, there's 3 walls on top, and there's they're different variations each, so it's how do you name it without having a name that's the entire fucking alphabet on a file that you can
Exactly.
Yeah, and another thing is grids. You've got to use your grids, because otherwise you're going to sit there on your 1 centimeter trying to get it in there. No, you got to stick to your grids, stick to your names, and always snap. If you see an artist that's got your pivot point, kind of messed up, you go in there and you whip them and you say, you better fix this. And that's how it goes. Just keep your grids and your names.
Which it brings me to an interesting thought. Actually, one of the things you guys are going to see in the decoration tools that are going to be available here soon. Once shortly after the houses go online, we want to make sure we put through some good usability testing before you're able. If you did get a furnishing package with your house, the furnishing tools actually they have kind of a grid system. It's called snap points. And that helps you because when you're working off a grid, we build stuff and we furnish houses all the time or buildings all the time in 3D environments. And it sucks if you're not working on a grid and you're like just in there. It's almost, is it touching the floor? Is it? Oh, it's floating, and that kind of thing sucks. So we're putting these snap points where, let's say, you have like a painting on your wall, and essentially as you move it, it just kind of snaps into place, and so you don't have to worry about trying to. But you can free place too. So if you wanna put it in this weird center place of the wall and rotate it kind of like your house looks like you've been drunk all the time like I am, and it's just like everything's falling all over the place, or a poltergeist lives there. Yeah, you can do whatever you want, but we are giving you the tools to, I want essentially in-game some of the luxuries we experience with placing stuff, so you're not just kind of stuck there, but at the same time unlimited too. We want to give you all that freedom. Okay, and James, what about you? Because this is your first swing in video games, really. I mean, really getting in there, and like, how has been exploring modularity been for you? Like, did you ever think of something like this before working in games, or?
Never, not my idea, but are we allowed to talk about the other project that's big, or?
Star Citizen?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right, cool.
everyone knows we're working about Star Citizen.
Wait, Star Citizen using the same kind of tier system. So I was sort of, when I first started at Ilphonic, I was dabbling into their tier system and looking at the prefabs they had built. So I kind of had an idea of what was needed in Revival.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the project is actually the concept is brilliant. Like, just easy, build a house in like 5 minutes with all these prefabs, or we'll call them blueprints.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially they're prefabs.
It is a prefabricated object. Yeah.
Blueprint is the name brand of
Unreal's because it has scripting with it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I love that stuff because it's like we place a door down, and in normal games, like back when I was making levels for like Half-Life or something, right? Like you place a door down, and then you have to go in the editor and script each individual one. Yeah, you could prefab things there, but it wasn't the same. Like, it was nowhere near the same. A lot of times I like to compare the tier system for people who are trying to understand it, kind of like a little bit like The Sims, a little bit, but mostly like I would say Dungeon Keeper, where you have, here's this room, and you update the room, and everything updates, everything kind of fits together on the lines, everything matches up. You're never going to be worried about things fitting with each other. It's like working in a scale in music, It's like everything just fits.
Yeah. Speaking of Dungeon Keeper, I really loved how it almost seemed dynamic how their wall materials would change, right? Because you would have like a single wall that was just like a plain one, but once you lined up 3, it would get that really little detailing.
There's lots
that
of
was
little,
so awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, this is like.
They did a really good job with that.
Yeah.
Like that procedural generation stuff is amazing. Okay. So yeah, let's get started. Man, we're moving fast here. Look at that. Look at these just fast talkers, man. You guys calm down. Or is it me talking too much?
I think it might be all of us.
Okay, good. I've been drinking a lot of apple juice. I'll tell you that much.
We lost Santa.
Hey, you put Santa away?
Yeah, Santa's being bad.
Okay. All right. So we're going to show you guys a house. What we're going to show you is one of the tenement buildings. We're going to fly around in it. So let's do that. Let me see if I can turn this on. All right. Oh, that's not it.
Hello.
Oh, I know why. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. I'm gonna do live IT work. Are you ready for this?
That always goes well.
I'm ready for this.
Yeah,
Are you ready for it?
I think so.
Okay. Hold on. Hold your horses now. Okay. How about now? Nope. Wow.
It's a house.
Yeah. So
You can see the modularity.
what you're seeing there is a house, sort of. Let's see. Yeah, for some reason it is not grabbing the D3D input of the. I mean, you can see the cursor changing.
Oh,
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally highlighting the.
Let me reopen the editor. Sorry guys, 1 second. Hey, this is our second stream. If anyone gives me shit, I'm gonna tell them you're right.
Or we could have them send us their address, we could glitter bomb
Oh look, that's.
Glitter bombs are good.
Let's see. See, it's still not capturing anything but what the camera is grabbing. Alright, let's, it's not capturing the desktop, in other words.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, guys. I have no idea what's going on. Let me,
So, scene? What's the different scenes there?
yeah. What's that, Cindy?
Do you want me to come over there?
You want to? Try to figure this out.
Cindy, help.
I need
Cindy,
an,
help.
I need an adult.
Alright, I'm away.
Anyways, guys,
Yeah.
let's fill the time.
So
With-
let's just keep drinking some more apple juice.
Cheers to that.
Oh, speaking of, the only other time I heard the word prefabrication was I was watching a documentary about Chernobyl.
There's one time when I was in prison.
Yes, I was in prison for, will not say his violent sexual crimes.
I did not.
But anyways,
Right.
you know, Chernobyl, they had a nuclear meltdown. It's in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Anyways, they needed to like build this structure. I forget what they called it. Build a structure over the reactor, and they built prefabricated pieces so they can just like build it really fast, basically. Kind of same thing that we're doing.
Yeah, you see that. You can see that a lot actually in real architecture. It's just a really fast way to do it.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It doesn't make sense not to do it, unless it's like something unique you're trying to create. It's just so quick.
Yeah.
And pretty cool actually. What they did in Chernobyl.
Yeah, because they couldn't.
Yeah.
Like the closer you were to the reactor, the more exposure you're getting to gamma radiation.
Yeah.
And like
Gamma rads.
do it really fast. Yeah.
Well, it's capturing the mouse cursor. It's definitely doing that. Hold on. There we go.
Hello.
Did you see that endless mirror?
I saw.
I got it. I think I got it. You guys
Something's
no, don't drag Atmosphere's blog in. Okay.
One live.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Macaroni party. Here we go.
Hey! Alright. Awesome. Good. I was about to kill someone. I was gonna turn offline and leave the mic running, and you guys are doing terrible things. Okay. So let's take a look around here. If you guys, I don't know if any of our people tuning in purchased any tenements. It seems like a lot of the founders are definitely going after the stop 4s and 3s first.
Yeah.
The merchant front ones
I
really got
see it.
things. And I feel like that's kind of an error on me because I really feel like most people are going to buy the cottages first and then move into the tenement buildings because they're definitely tenements are cheaper.
Yeah.
But people, I think, they really understand what's going on here. Like if you get those big houses, you're pretty much telling everybody,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love that. And these cottages, this is a big amount of space. Let's not.
For a tenement.
Oh, this is the biggest tenement one there is. I don't know if any of our
It's actually bigger than my
viewers
apartment.
bought this one. This is we call it style variation 5 of the tenement building. And you can see kind of what we were talking about. So the big thing to mind with the tenement set is right now we have, again, the 4-meter grid size, which I talked about with the footprint. So you can see that if I was select one of these guys, you can see that object's outlined. And that essentially is saying this whole space in here is 4 meters, right? That's a 4-meter chunk. And this is what we call, this is a normal wall because that's a whole wall 1. This is see, this one's not put together properly, which needs to be fixed. Fucking James. And this is actually a corner piece. So in this situation, we call this this would be corner north wall A, west wall B,
Yes.
and then it might have a floor variation sometimes called out or not. And it has the doors, they all fucking work and everything. It's great. It's like, it's really cool. But what we're going to be seeing, if anyone bought these tenements, you would get the upgrades. But what we're also going to be doing is some of these walls are very samey, so we're going to be adding a lot more variation. Like I think this wall is the exact same as this wall.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, right, part of it is like this cloth and the mesh is all built into the into it, and we're going to take those out. I think what the plan was is we're going to extract those so that we can get more variation out of like more or less the same piece.
Yep. And I want you guys to understand a few things. What you're going to be seeing, especially people who get the first release of the houses, you're going to see some of this stuff, like this light cutting through here, through the wall. We call that light bleeding. And right now, that's currently a limitation in the engine we're fighting against, because a lot of our scenes are going to really rely on dynamic, natural lighting. Oh, let me close Skype.
Let's just cut that out of the video.
It's like no one saw the CIG pop up during our live stream. Anyways, so this is conceptually a light from the other side, right over here, just bleeding through. But the problem is we have dynamic lighting in the game. So in the game, you're going to be seeing the sun do a full cycle, and the lights move through a house, through the windows, and flood the interior with natural bounce lighting. And right now, we don't have a solution for that dynamic. For that being dynamic, we are putting that in our production pipeline. So for now, the light's going to be static, and then we're faking what is essentially called global illumination, which is when a light strikes a surface, the light bounces, and then that light will keep bouncing until it loses power. And that's why whenever you're in a house and you have just a window and your whole bedroom is filled with lights, because the light's coming, it's scattering, it's bouncing off every surface and filling the room with light. So this is kind of a faked version of it, and that's a lot of the reasons why you're seeing some of this leaking. Another things we're going to be doing here in the tenement buildings especially is some of these floors, for example. This, as cool as these logs look, right, I think it adds a lot of character personally. I think it does. The problem is, well, that's where I want to put my table, or that's where I want to put my bed, or put some props. Now all of a sudden these logs are there. We want to make sure we give you guys as much of a clean slate as possible so that you can really make this thing not look like a giant piece of shit. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is a tenement building. This is not supposed to look like
slums.
Yeah, it is a slum. The tenement buildings you'll see, there definitely is 5 versions of them. They're home. Like I personally, I bought one myself. I think I actually bought this Style 5. I bought one of these Style 5 ones. Because I wanted the shit bucket room. It's when my character takes a poop, and then
poops and sleeps.
But I mean, again, it drives home to what your character wants to be, what you feel comfortable with getting a house. There's a ton of tenement buildings available, tenement units available.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what this is. The tenement unit is for. Is like, hey, I want to be a citizen of this town. I want to have the voting power and everything in this town, and I want to have a place I can call home. I can build a little crafting stuff here, but I don't want to go overboard with it. I just want something just modest and that I can really kind of take advantage of, and that's what these tenement buildings are. And from the exterior, what you're going to see when these are put together, it's going to look like a bunch of shacks stacked on top of each other. They're going to be really
rickety.
Yeah, just
as time went by, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like great. Because like you're gonna go into the city, you're gonna see like some like real nice buildings. Then you're gonna go over here like, I should probably avoid that area. So I'll probably get stabbed over there.
Right, exactly.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna add so much character to like love the world in general.
So what can you tell me, James, a little bit about kind of working with this and putting these together? It's been kind of interesting, especially because you got these holes just straight up in the building side. Like it's interesting. It's like I'm sitting here trying to act like a realtor. To a piece of shit.
This elegant hole. It's symmetry. It's very Art Nouveau style. It's very modern.
Yeah. It's very hip. The hipsters are all about it. It'll go great with the curly mustache.
Yeah.
So essentially, this is a what we call. Were we calling these hovels? I think tenement. It was the hovels of cottages. Cottages, that's right. So this has always been tenement, yeah. There's this stuff, once again, you guys, if you get the upgrade package, all the walls, floors, and ceilings will be updated to a lot cleaner version. They'll look way nicer. The props, if you buy the furnishing package, will come in. We will decorate your house for you, and then whenever that releases on the client, you'll be able to come in, move objects around, hang paintings up, and try to make the best out of it. I wish that VR smell tech was so
right.
That guy made that VR cartridge that you can smell the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
that would be so awesome.
This would probably just smell like 1,000 kinds of BO. All right.
VR tech confirmed.
Exactly. Okay, so let's show the other one. If you guys, let me load that up, Cindy. If you want to, I think we're going to take a question for you guys while I do this.
Okay. All right. So someone wants to know, will there be operational door features?
Yes, definitely.
They are in.
We already have the most basic kind of functionality right now, where you can kind of open it, kind of runs on this like little sequence and closes, and we'll have potentially a double door, kind of like you sit there, kind of really just kind of prototyping it, but just speaking off the top of my head, you'll sit there and hold the use button, and you'll see him kind of go in there. And bringing it further, I would really love to just kind of like have the animation support it, so that you're actually going in and opening the door and closing, and then say you come up to like a cabinet and stuff, you'll have like a different sequence for like when you're looking at the different heights and stuff like that. So that's definitely something we're planning, and it's already feasible. It's just a matter of implementing it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Which one are we showing again?
6.
6. I thought so. Just make sure. Yeah. Just wanted you guys to know, in the tenant building, you did see a door, but that door is the front door. So it's always closed. We are taking your interiors different than the exterior approach with the interior player houses and Revival. In PC houses, not all the time. There's a big reason why we're doing that. It is because players can decorate and customize their interior house so much and do all sorts of crazy things. It really needs to relieve a lot of tension off the server's back end. All right, so let's take a look at this real quick. There we go. Cool. All right, we are in a cottage. This is version 6. As you can see, it's way bigger. Now, the cottages are kind of more what you would consider medieval-esque. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't go into too much of the Tudor style, which style 3, the small houses, and then the estate, not the estates.
No, not the estates. The
manses and houses. They go more into like a Victorian and Tudor style, and these ones are kind of more thatch roofs. Some of them have big holes in the roofs, so you can see here you get lots of natural lighting in the unit.
Yeah.
Lots of natural lighting.
It's got its fire pit. You got to get that smoke out. You don't want to get that carbon monoxide. That's probably not good for you.
No, you don't want the place filling up with smoke. Yeah. So this one is actually a square unit. Some of the cottages are round, as you guys probably have noticed in the floor plans. There's a lot of round spacing, which has been really interesting for the modularity, because again, that takes it. You have to make a bigger footprint at that point, because all the footprints still have to be square and match up on that big 400 unit snap point. Some things I think we'll notice here is like the windows, for example. It's not in the dark areas; they're kind of the same glow factor, and because you can't see outside since it's its own instance. We're going to get that fixed. I'm really, really pleased with what direction this is going. As you can tell, the artists are going through the roofs and trying to get this big, like, thatchy, hanging, sagging roof look. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here. This is kind of the divider wall, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a not so substantial wall, but enough to be able to separate yourself from a certain space.
Yeah, you could be like, I can see you taking a poop in the poop bucket.
Yeah, your buckets are there. They exist.
So yeah, this one's got a pretty cool like little entryway. You can come in and take a look around. You look around.
Hang your cardigan sweater up there.
Yeah, there's lots of places. So whenever you're in decorate mode, I think it's important to know, you have all these floors and ceilings, but these units, floors and walls. This unit has a big open ceiling because of the open roof, for example. So you could potentially, when you're decorating stuff, put it in higher areas. Now, that's not saying you won't be able to put things up here, because then that's not really fair for the thieves running up in here trying to steal your stuff. I mean, you gotta
give them a chance.
You gotta give them a chance to take your things. So, I mean, I think in these higher areas, we definitely are gonna have things that players can use, like thieves. Like, well, let's say I have a bow and arrow, and you have something. Oh, you think you're clever, hiding your back boat up there and shoot my arrow, take that. While you're sleeping in the bed, the cot or whatever.
Shoot you while you're sleeping too.
Yeah, might as well. Just stab them. Yeah,
go
sneak through the door. I'm sure there's not going to be many guards around because you're in a cottage. Granted, Crowns Rock has a ton of cottages all over the place.
Yeah.
There's really scattered, especially in the outer ring kind of areas, and then littering along near the mansions, out at the estates and the exteriors of the city. The two ones that are on the exterior. Was it two or one? I think it's one.
I think it's one.
One. Yeah. That's right. One. It's a big city. There's a lot of units in Crowns Rock. So you guys also notice, if you have noticed the map in Crowns Rock, if you guys played with the filters, you would also see that there's also a filter you can uncheck and see more of the NPC spots too, not just the player houses and player units. So there's a lot, and not everything is a player house, so not every house is a player house. So for players that are worried about another player and how they react if you are a thief or something like that, just go pick on NPCs. If you think you can deal with their wrath more than a player's wrath, and all the power to you. But I can guarantee you that's going to be my goal, to make sure you feel the same kind of fear from a player than an NPC. I want to make sure in Revival you're not jumping on top of a rock and looking at an NPC run around the rock in circles for hours while you're like, stab him in the head, stab.
Not to mention the all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
Content thing.
Exactly. They're going to be watching, making sure all that's going down. So yeah, this is a cottage. It's looking great. Again, this is the simulated bounce, but you can tell there's essentially 3 points of contact coming in here from the sunlight. The two windows there, and this one. This doesn't have a point of contact, but we are simulating a little bit of like the sky lighting bleeding through the window, and like a natural, the atmosphere light, which is kind of a sky blue that would kind of come through and fill in a little bit. But these ones are direct sunlight hitting dirt, so the bounce is going to be kind of hot, and a very warm light that comes up. So yeah, that's style 1, 2 houses.
And part of one of the major factors of these cottages is, yes, you will be able to own some land.
Yeah, if you did buy, so yeah, inside the house, inside the city, Crowns Rock, if you do get a cottage, they have a small yard, not a very big yard.
Right.
Granted, they do have a tiny yard. The smaller houses, the estates, they have, not the estates, sorry, manses. I keep getting it mixed up. Those don't really have that big of a yard, because it's much like if you're in a big city and you're building a big house, you're going to try to maximize your square footage as much as possible. And those kind of use that same theory. And in the cottages, they're kind of have a little plot of land. If you're inside the city, if you're inside Crowns Rock and you have one of these things, you may not get that much. It might be enough for just a little bit of extra stuff, but you won't be able to like farm, for example. Now, if you did buy a cottage on the exterior of Crowns Rock, which they do, I believe, cost a little bit more than the interior ones, because they do include a little bit of farmland, and I do believe that was included in the descriptions of them. Yeah. So they do, if you are a character that's interested in farming, and you want your character to grow crops or whatever illegal substances and try to hide it, that's where you want your character to be for sure. Or you can buy the estate and you have a lot of land. They all have land. In the city, of course, it's going to be smaller. But if you are in the countryside estate, you have a big farmland. Like that's the Baron of farming. Whoever gets that, that's it. And if you don't want to be a farmer, whatever. You're just a guy who has a lot of land, and then maybe you never take care of it. Maybe you're just that evil guy that has a lot of land. You just let the grass grow, and it gets all wilderness, and then
bury people in there.
And then monsters start appearing, and then you just turn into like this weird necrophiliac necromancer.
Necrophiliac might not be the right way, but
No, necrophiliac and necromancer.
okay.
I like the ring of that.
All right, make your own supply. I see that.
No, but be whatever your character says to you. You know, like if you wanted to,
Definitely.
big farmer. That's where you want to be. You know, if you feel like you're a fisher, you want to be in the houses closer to the docks in the north, for example,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or just kind of out and about. But all the houses, you know, they have their own rewards. I wish I could drop in with the character right now, but unfortunately, we just got the character re-rigged, and the basic animations are being redone right now, so it's completely broken. So you could see the size of the character in reference to all of this, and this is a pretty big space.
Yeah,
It's not.
Yeah,
You can fit like if players are standing shoulder to shoulder. I believe there could be 3 characters right here, like standing shoulder to shoulder. So this isn't a small space. It's always hard to tell that when you don't have a reference. You know.
Yeah, images and floor plans do only so much to.
Yeah.
What it actually.
But here, very soon, we're going to be getting that. We're going to be showing, revealing the rest of the offline client. So you can get in the offline client, then you're going to get the house upgrades, which the artists are working on right now,
Yep.
and then the prop kits. But the props are almost done, but the props are done. Now we just got to decorate the houses. So that's a challenge in itself, because now we got to go through all 40 houses and hand decorate all these free sets. We were thinking, you know what, we'll just be dicks and we'll just. Okay, here's all the props, and we just dump all the props in the pile in the center of the room, and then just give them to the players. But you know, no, we're not gonna do that. We'll decorate them, and we'll put pictures up for you, just to give you some ideas on how you can decorate, and then you can grab those objects we decorated with, and then you can discard it. You can put it somewhere else, or
keep it in inventory.
Yeah, exactly. Just do whatever you want with it. It's yours. And these objects the founder objects they're all going to be plated with the founder's plaque. Which means that, this is the only time to ever get those, and you'll never be able to get them again. So once those are gone, later down when the game's launching and you have these founder props, I guarantee you there'll be players out there that will be wanting to get their hands on them because they miss them. So they're super rare to get right now. Something to think about. So anyways, that's a lot of what we were going to cover, and I think we made a great time. Let's get some questions in. I think that's awesome, Cindy. If we can, let's.
All right, yeah.
I'm sure that I see that the Twitch stream up here, and some guys have been. I can see. What does it say? Is that guy sucks? Who's that guy in the middle? Look at him. Who's these guys with glasses? Fuck that guy.
All right. So someone wants to know: will there be something like guild houses?
A house can be whatever you want. If you want to turn one of those the tenement buildings into your guild house, because maybe that's your guild's thing.
That's what you got.
That's it. Anything can be whatever you want. Every single unit has its own politics system, so you can decide if once the first person buys it, you can decide if it's owned by. Well, not at first release, but eventually we'll be releasing all these features with the politics of the house. You can choose you're the owner. You have a group of owners. Your owner's democracy. If you have a guild, the guild becomes an owner, and then there's the politics of the guild that's set up. So you have to run through the stat setup of the guild. We do have an estate. Sorry, that is being built. It's being built right now. It's being built right now. It's getting the final touches. It's getting a chandelier. It is the guild hall estate. We're building it specifically. This one specifically for the functionality that I believe a guild would be looking for. There's lots of rooms, and we have these spaces that I felt were just these big open rooms with tons of individual closets, and that's places for players to. If you have you have a ranking system in your guild, they all sleep in the bunk area, and then if you're lucky, they get their own little closet and stuff like that, and then you have all 15 upgradable rooms, so you can get every single upgradable room, turn your guild hall into a powerhouse of crafting and everything like that.
Yep. Great. That's one of the things I really loved about having that guild hall. It's the stronger guilds are really going to have an impact on the world, because they're going to be able to produce all this stuff, instead of going to having to go to looking for group or looking for trade, I need someone to craft this. You're going to look for a guild that has the skills,
exactly.
And hey, I want to contract you guys or whatever, right?
Yep.
And
join them, or even more so if you're in the city's politics. We've talked about this before. If a guild has a lot of power, in the city, like they have a lot of members, they put a lot of money of theirs goes through the local economy and the taxes and everything like that. You're going to know that on coming into a city, who's the guild in control around here, who's the boss.
Definitely.
Because their banners are going to be up all over the place. The city's going to be very welcoming to them, and that's the same, welcoming to them or accepting them as their owner. If you're an evil guild, you can absolutely come in there and run the house. They're tyranny, like just be the assholes and be like, no, give me your money. Give me that lunch money. You know what I'm talking about, James.
Yeah.
You got lunch money, girl. I'm just kidding. Cool. What's up?
Awesome. So this one, when will we hit phase 2 and wander around our homes?
So phase 2 starts when phase 1 ends, and phase 1's ending is when you guys have the offline housing, the home decoration, and the house upgrades. That encompasses phase 1, and the stuff we've done to the website, which is there where it needs to be. It's going to be continuously updated and expanding. So we're very close. I mean, I think we're working on the final steps for the account login for the offline client, so you can download the game, executable, you type in your stuff, and you connect, and then it connects to your house on your account backend. So that's very close. I hate saying times. I always tell people that I hate saying times because it's.
Let's push it back.
Yeah, well, I'm trying my hardest to not do that, and I really want to give a window of saying I firmly believe, 1 to 2 months, but you never know. Like I don't want players to think, okay, I said 2 months or 1 month, it's going to be done at the end of April. Where is it? Like things, this is weird. The development on Revival isn't like normal games. We're doing it like, hey, we're working on it, we're making it good. And when it's good and we believe it's ready, we're going to put it out there. We just got done working on a game at Ophonic. I'm not going to say what, but let's just say it wasn't ready and it wasn't up to us. And I don't want that to happen, especially to this game, because so much of our hearts are going into this project that I don't want to put things out there unless it's ready. So I do feel like 2 months is a good time, but 1 to 2 months, but we never know, right? So that's our estimation. The phase 2 is a lot more difficult because it is the external city. Now that's us building all of Crown's Rock. That's a lot of work. It is a massive undertaking. There's vegetation, there's the entire city roads, everything. The good news is we've learned a lot through the first stage 1 and the modularity. Our team's definitely expanding. And, I feel like we know the engine a lot better now.
Oh, yeah.
Because you guys know, if you guys have been following us for a while, we changed engines, and we had to learn Unreal Engine very fast. So that put a dent in our speed, unfortunately. But I feel like we're starting to get back up to where we were, and hopefully that goes as fast as possible. And that's the offline houses where you can leave your house, and now you're in the city, and you can explore all of Crown's Rock. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
All right, so can a house be partially destroyed, and will that be visible?
Yes, I think it's important to state that there's a difference between the housing on standard and gold servers in that regard. And on a standard server, your house can be destroyed, but it won't be flattened. In other words, it won't go into complete rubble like it can on a gold server. It can. Now, on a standard server, cities can grow and expand, but on a very systematic process. And if a city's starting to get lower in economy and starting to be destroyed and stuff like that, and your house is part of it, it still won't be as apparent as a gold server's destruction. Destruction in a gold server is if a comet lands on your house and it's smashed, it is fucking gone. So what that means is it's gone. Like we'll take you through the next steps if your house happens and you got the protections there and everything like that. And again, that is the cause and effect of being in a virtual world. Versus hey, this is game land where everything's safe and okay, whatever. I'm gonna log in and play my 2 hours and get my appetite full and then leave. The Revival's gold servers is these are players and this is our vision of an online world where there's cause and effect. The world goes on with or without you, just like real life. And so it is a consequence. So if your house is destroyed, which we are making it hard to destroy houses, don't worry. You can't just go up to it with a torch and go, hee hee, thatch roof, bye bye. Because that would definitely happen in real life. But we're not doing that in the world of revival. We're saying, there has to be a certain number of things in place for house destruction to happen. And you would be able to tell from the interior and exterior if a house is in serious danger and being destroyed. And you can definitely, I'm sure some of you might be thinking, you can definitely destroy a house from the inside too. So if you see a house start catch fire, people outside will just sit there and see the windows blow up and then the roof catch on fire, and then everyone will be like, oh my goodness. And then someone will be like, save my baby. And be like,
my sheep.
My sheep. My sheep. I put my sheep inside.
That's my wife.
That's my wife. All right.
Will it ever rain inside the cottage if they have holes in the roof?
Yes. That's the downside of having a hole in your roof. Is the good thing is if that happens, one, your character's safe and your belongings are safe. We're not putting rain damage as something you really need to concern yourself. But if it is raining exterior, you will see rain coming into your cottage. In the upgrade version of the cottages that do have holes in them, there are little gutters that are being put in from the center, because you're going to be getting a stone floor in the upgrade, that will kind of lead the water out. So it's not just
it won't be flooded.
It won't just be a big puddle of mud just sitting in the middle of your. And I am talking about the band. The band won't just be like, we're sitting here now, annoying you with our crappy music. Anyways.
Okay. Awesome. So will the housing be instanced? Will people be able to see people walking by their windows on the outside?
No. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see people inside from outside. You would see people go in their door, and they'd be brought into their own server. Again, if you look at the density of Crown's Rock and you see how many houses are right next to each other, an insane amount of things players can do inside their houses. Just think about the insane things you do inside your house right now. Right now. I don't even want to know what you're doing right now. But I'm just saying, it does get pretty intense on the server load and tracking all the stuff, all your objects you might have, the crazy amount of physics going on. There's so much stuff that we have to really keep in mind, and so we have to really turn things into their own instance when you go inside your house. Okay?
So will players leave footprints on the dirt floors?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll have a whole footprint track, and we're even going to do, if you get water, and you walk across wooden floors or stone, things like that, you're going to get. You'll see a little track of blood, walking in blood.
Yeah. Follow the blood trail.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you didn't do anything, huh? Well, I don't know about that, sir. Let me see your legs. Let me see your feet. Yeah. Exactly.
So in regards to the holes in houses in the rain and being destroyed, will you be able to repair your houses?
Absolutely. If your house isn't fully destroyed, yes. You can, absolutely. That's in-game currency.
Great.
You don't have to worry about anything. And I've said this plenty of times. We are not out to say, hey, buddy, nice wallet. Let me see that. Go ahead, do that, buddy. No, we're not doing that in Revival. That's the Ilphonics theory. Houses cost money because there is a lot of labor that goes into them and placing them, and there's severe things that happen when the house is in the game, so it's kind of a little bit of a gating thing, but outside of that push with houses, it's not something we're sitting here trying to be like, oh, let's nickel and dime players for every single thing we're worth. I do not believe that kind of stuff, and I don't believe in those kind of practices with game development. So we'll try to give you guys as much don't worries as possible. Yeah. So, and a lot of that stuff we're still trying to figure out. If we say things that are too brutal right now, we might change our mind later. So, okay.
So along with the repairing the houses, will you need a specific craft for that?
No, it was not for houses. Houses, that'll be something done through the city. So that'll be something you actually do to the house and just be kind of automated. Boats, on the other hand, yes. So one thing we haven't talked, I don't know if we've talked about this with boats yet, or we talked about.
I don't think anything really is.
Okay.
About.
So boats are the only thing in the game world that costs money to buy, but you as a player, if your carpentry skill gets to a high enough level, it is one of the master skills of being able to build your own and repair boats. So that is a master skill that's shared, right? But it is a master skill, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about how master skills work, where there's not, you can't, if you get to your highest level in being a carpenter or whatever, it's not like everyone can be a boat master,
Right.
a boat maker at that time. It's there's only like 5. There's only 5 or so in the world. Or there's a couple. Sometimes there's only one. Master skills are very hard to get and obtain. There's a lot of steps you have to go through, and that's kind of a very high level feature for players. But that is the only thing that costs money that players can essentially get. Okay.
All right, well, I think this is a good one to end with. Will the founder homes be available until they're all sold or until a certain phase? And will we be able to open cities before stage 6 to get more?
So here's it. Okay, so all the houses you see available right now is it for our stages 1 through 6. Once the server's sold out, they're sold out. Gold servers are definitely filling up like crazy. They're selling out really fast, a lot faster than we thought. So if we feel like there is a need to open up another gold server, we'll figure that out when we get there, but we might flip a standard server to a gold server. But other than that, does that answer that first question? I think so, right? Does it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other question, I can't tell you. It's a surprise. We have something planned towards the end of stage 6. I'm very sorry. I think you guys are all gonna love, but it is a surprise. And I don't. If I say anything about that, you guys are it'll ruin it. So let's just say you're gonna be covered and you're gonna have a lot of options. Definitely, are gonna have a lot of options. But everyone that is a founder is going to get the first dibs. And how we're doing that is the first orders that came in. You're going to be able to choose whatever you want. Once everything comes online, the first continent starts to expand. So, cool. Well, I guess that's all the time we got, guys. I hope you. Wow, that was an hour. That felt like it was like 30 minutes or something. Nuts, dude. Pretty much an hour, give or take. So, anyways, we're going to be doing another one here soon. I'm hoping to do that if we can next week, but maybe it might be 2 weeks. I'm not sure. Like these things, they do take out our development time. So it is kind of a hassle for us to put this together. But I really like doing it. I really like reaching out and communicating with you guys. And I'm sure these guys love doing it. And I'm glad you guys enjoy communicating with us too. But the next one we're actually going to go through three or 2 of the small house ones, the Tudor style ones, which will be really cool. And I'm really excited for that because those houses have upgradable rooms in them. So that's and those are big things. So we really dive into that, and I think you guys are going to understand what those are a lot more. But other than that, I guess, and until next time, we will see you guys soon. Then, right?
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
See you guys.
Bye.